listening to Late Night Radio on the SHR Media Network. Caution, there will be mature themes explored and potentially adult language used. If conservatarian words, phrases, certain concepts, or rhetoric offends you, tune out now.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike?
You magnificent bastard, I read your book.
I drink
your milkshake.
How dare you?
I call that bold talk for a one-eyed fat man.
Fill your hand, you son of a bitch!
Captain.
Captain. Captain.
Captain.
Captain.
Captain.
Captain.
Captain. Captain.
Captain.
Captain. Captain. Captain. Captain.
Captain.
Captain.
No, not yet. Not yet. Don't pass out on me yet. Of course you realize this means war.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here. I'm open, only in the back door. I know what you're thinking. Stop thinking that. It is Thursday, May 21st, the year of our Lord 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, where I'm broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, always spelled it with a K, a mere 2 miles east of the locus of evil on the entire left coast, the Bill Mill, the belly of the beast, the Capitol building in downtown Sacramento at 10th and L Streets, where, late at night, you can hear the death of common sense and its concomitant wail as it wafts from that petrifying edifice. And late at night, when I exit the plush, resplendent, sumptuous, palatial, and effulgently bulbous SHR Media Studios, I will be smelling the odoriferous stench of sulfur, brimstone, and evil emanating from that mentally destitute columned structure aforementioned. And I have to tell you also, what you're about to hear for the next 2 hours consists of my opinions and no one else's. Because of the fear porn that has gripped this nation, the saloon is no longer open in the front, as the city of Sacramento has pulled my license, but I'm still serving stiff drinks, facts, history, logic, rationality, proportion, context, tradition, intent, and common sense right out the back door. And we don't water our drinks, just like we don't water our conversation. Politics, religion, crime, culture, economics, race, sex, science, law. We talk about it all right here at the saloon, where the speech is free, but the booze is not. And in 2020, I am done with compromise and bipartisanship. This is the new age of modern political warfare. The leftists, Democrats, and the American media maggots all want you dead, or at minimum, jobless, bankrupt, bereft of a future, and quivering in the fetal position under your desk, waiting for your local leftist governors and mayors to bestow a modicum of freedom in dribs and drabs when it pleases them, always to be taken away also when it pleases them. Folks, if our Constitution and our Bill of Rights don't prevail, we have absolutely lost this nation, and it won't be coming back. Because if we lose freedom here in the United States of America, where else are we going to find it around the planet? And the answer is, it's right here, and it's ours to lose. Tonight in the first hour, we are going to be speaking to Randy Perham. And, just hang on a second. I've got to introduce him, and I've got to tell you a little story before we actually get to him. I find the coolest people on the internet. Have you folks ever been on the internet or on social media and you've seen somebody that just managed to resonate with you immediately? Tonight's guest, Randy Perham, is one of those people, and perhaps a bit of an explanation is due. Okay, so everybody knows I am a political animal. I'm all over the internet trying to bring new and unique information to all my listeners and viewers like you tonight. So I discover all sorts of discussions on Twitter and Facebook and other social media all over the place. So I came across some fairly nasty stuff on Facebook, on a Facebook page by a guy named Randy Perham, except he wasn't writing the nasty stuff. The people on his page were. Turns out, he's a black conservative. Where there's the problem right there, okay? So apparently to others, he's kind of like the cat stuck in the toilet, okay? He needs to be removed. So I'm reading his original, I can hear him laughing in the background. So I'm reading his original posts about freedom and liberty, and they're pretty unique, and they're well crafted, and they're great takes on any number of issues. So as soon as one post gets published, man, the floodgates are open, and the attacks commence. And I'm not talking about attacks on his points, but many from the go, they start attacking him personally. Okay, those are your standard Mark I, Model I ad hominem attacks, like those proffered by attorneys that I've encountered in prior days who cannot win a case any other way. So, comment after comment, this Randy Perham guy answers back with logically crafted arguments, good reasoning, and I also notice he's a hell of a lot more tolerant with these leftist morons than I would ever be. And so, most of these really contemptuous critics are black. The words and names they call Randy Perham are pretty staggering. So Randy Perham's on the phone right now waiting, and I'm sure he's thinking, okay, come on, geez, I'm ready to go. Wrap it up, all right? Let's go. Well, not quite so fast. There still needs to be some background, because I am a big believer in talking to conservatives. All conservatives. I couldn't care less about their paint jobs. And one of my best friends lives in D.C., Ken McClinton, and I met him at the 2017 Freedom Fest show in Las Vegas when he was working at SHR Media Network. That's where I work. And he's working at the booth with me and Clint and Sean and the SHR owners. So Ken and I strike up a friendship which stretches all across the U.S. to this day, and I'm on his show every Monday night with commentary. So talking to Ken leads me to Ralph Chittum's, who you know here, to Shannon Wright, to Michael Wright, to Lonnie Poindexter, Melanie Collette, a whole bunch of other great conservative people who also just happen to be black. It's a paint job, BFD. I want everybody on my show. If you're a conservative, I want to talk to you and get your perspectives, because I want people to understand there are actual black conservatives in America, because the American media maggots won't let you know that or hear them. And the other important point is the Republican Party needs to find them, needs to see them, seek them, recognize them, and ask for their help. Be honest. Ask for their help. Black conservatives live in the same cities, go to the same churches, the same stores, same schools, and they want America to be better for everybody. And so I wanted people to listen to my show to hear this and recognize this. We want as many people as possible in the conservative tent. It is more than big enough. But you know what? Republican and conservative recruiting it sucks. So back to Randy Perham. I read his posts and his comments. Dude is cool under pressure. So I thought, who is this guy? And I need to get him on the show. And also, I pretty much don't know anything about him, but let's invite him on the show and find out. So, Randy Perham, welcome to the Berserk Bobcat Saloon. Let's see, I just wasted 5 minutes on an introduction for you.
Hey,
was it long enough?
How you doing tonight?
I am doing great, sir.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So, here's another strange thing. While corresponding, I discover that Randy is in Naples, Italy right now. And so when I originally asked you to be on at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, Thursday night, I found out from you, oh, that's only 5 a.m. Friday in Naples. So first, Randy Perham, holy moly, thanks for being up so early, because I'm usually thanking my East Coast guests for staying up so late.
Staying up late. Yeah, no worries.
So,
When you asked, I contemplated. I was like, I really want to get up there for on Friday.
And I'm thinking, oh my,
I'll do it for you.
you must have copious amounts of coffee right now.
I do actually, yes.
Okay, I'm going to get to this, but I may as well do it now. Are you vacationing? Vacationing? That's a new word. Are you vacationing in Naples, Italy, or do you live there?
I actually live here. I'm stationed over here. I'm still active duty military.
Okay.
Army. U.S. Army. I'm stationed here. Actually, we're starting to get over this whole COVID-19 lockdown thing. So I was at home mostly during this time. And I'm also getting ready to retire too. So I'm on my transition stuff.
Okay.
Preparing for retirement. So
Alrighty.
yeah, so I'll be returning back to the U.S. here in a couple of months.
Okay, so before we get on to a bunch of topics tonight, and I have to forewarn you, just like I forewarn everybody. Just for you tonight, Randy, I have 18 pages of questions, the likes of which I know I will never get to. I'm going to have to pick and choose because we only got an hour, and so I have to be very careful and very selective. But you sent me a bio, and it goes like this, and I want to go over it now and then maybe a couple of details in a moment. So it says, okay. Your bio says that you were born and raised in Chicago, Illinois in 1980. You graduated from Hillcrest High School in 1998, graduated from Central Texas College in 2012 from an associate in general studies. You got a bachelor in business administration from the American Military University, and you're currently a political science grad student. You enlisted in the U.S. Army in June of 1998 and completed basic training and advanced individual training at Fort McClellan, Alabama, as a chemical operations specialist. You completed 5 campaigns in 3 tours to Iraq and 1 to Kuwait in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. Over 21 years, you've been in a parallel career as part of multi-level marketing industry and an independent business owner for various home-based businesses in your spare time. Spare time. Yeah, we'll get to that. In 2013, you published your first book, The New You, Now Equipped with Wisdom. I love that title. To help people that are seeking guidance in personal and professional development. You served as the commander of VFW Post 12159, Naples, Italy, and the District 1 commander for the VFW Department of Europe. You are currently communications director and committee advisor for AMU APUS Political Science Scholars Chapter and internet TV host for The New with Randy and April on TECN, the Exceptional Conservative Network. And you were indicating, as you just said, when you retire in 2020, you plan to pursue politics as a U.S. representative. We will definitely get to that. Randy married April Smith Perham. You guys got 6 children, Gayla, Brianna, Quiana, Damian, Skylar, and Mackenzie. Did I pronounce them all correct?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Ding. Good for me. Your personal philosophy behind everything, I love this, is inspired by Zig Ziglar. If you help enough people get everything they need, you'll have everything you want. So here is what I have concluded, Randy Perham. You are the consummate underachiever.
I concur.
Concur. Maybe some...
I found myself...
Sorry, go ahead.
I found myself not doing enough.
Yeah.
I found myself not doing enough. It's like, man, I'm bored. What the hell?
Maybe someday you'll actually do something with your life. Well, that's a lot to unpack. So let's start at the start. What was it like growing up in Chicago?
Oh, well, so I grew up mainly on the west side of Chicago.
Okay.
I don't know if most people probably know Chicago Avenue, the Cicero area. That's where I grew up at. And growing up, so I grew up in the '90s. Is I would say my most fondest memories of Chicago in the '90s. It was great, you know. I mean, yeah, we had our your natural urban things like the gangs, and trying to just fit in, and you're constantly fighting with your peers, and then the next day you're at the ice cream truck together or at the basketball court together. So, and being the oldest child out of a combined assortment of 12 siblings, yeah, I kind of found myself, herding the cats at home, and then my breakaway was to get outside and herd the cats in the streets. So it was great. It was great. I have no regrets.
After that, you graduated from. Well, let me ask you this: when you were small, did you think to yourself, or did you know, what do I want to be when I grew up? Were you thinking that? And what did you want to be when you grew up?
Yeah, I did actually. Growing when I was younger, like teenage years, I actually wanted to become a lawyer.
Okay.
And even through high school, I was always focused on law, rule of law, how laws are created, and everything, so I could become a great lawyer and understand the fundamental breakdown of why laws exist and where they stem from. And so, as I got through high school, and I was talking to some guys that actually worked at John Marshall Law School. I don't remember if they were instructors or not, but I know they worked there because they was going to get me into a early, kind of like a school type program where I'm not actually taking classes, sitting in classes and see what's going on in the evening. And after talking with them, I was like, maybe this law thing isn't for me. So
Okay.
I walked across the street to the recruiter station, and here I am.
Okay, so
21 years later.
what motivated you to? Because you went right in the military from high school, right?
Yeah, there was a little gap because I did graduate high school a little early ahead of my class. I graduated in January of '98, and my class graduated in June. So I had a 6-month gap, and I was married. I was married at the time, actually, in April of '98, my first. So I was working some odd jobs until it was time for me to go ship off basic training. And I wanted to always serve in the military anyways.
Okay.
And I figured I was going to go into the military one day as either going into the law profession or doing some GI Joe type of stuff. But the recruiter convinced me to become a chemical guy because he said, "Have you seen the movie The Rock with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery?" I was like, "Yeah." Well, you'll be doing that exact same stuff. I haven't seen any of that yet. So when I see that old recruiter, he will get punched. But it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed the time.
Okay, I noticed that you got your BA in business administration, and then it said you're currently a graduate student in political science. So that's obviously, to me, going somewhere. So the next obvious question is, are you a political kind of guy? And if you are, when did you think that you start to become aware of politics?
So, yes, I have a business administration degree at AMU, and I'm still with AMU, American Military University, in my grad program for political science. My political awareness actually sparked during my high school years. I was actually in the debate club also in high school. So, and that's what kind of like spurned around becoming a lawyer. And so I guess you could say it kind of ran synonymous because being in the debate club and and debating points. We just get random topics and we just debate about it and have to do research and everything else. So it kind of ran congruent with my political interest because I did work on political campaigns with political events, like working the polling booth and stuff like that for extra credit in high school also. So I kind of already had an awareness and an understanding of politics, even back as starting my freshman year. And so it as the years went on, it grew more and more passionate. I became more passionate with it over the years, and so deciding to go into politics, that actually struck me probably, I'd say maybe about 10 years ago. Maybe about 10 years ago, I was it's kind of like, okay, something that you definitely want to do and get into. And so ever since then, I've been keeping my eye on, what I do, what I say, and where I'm at. Just so I don't have anything bite me, but I'm sure it will anyway. But I'll deal with that when I cross that bridge. So,
well, yeah, people are going to do a deep dive into you anyway, almost no matter what you say or what you do. So you were a chemical operations specialist. You did 5 campaigns in 3 tours to Iraq, 1 in Kuwait during Operation Enduring Freedom. So looking back, and you're currently in the military, you're about to retire. Looking back, Randy, and folks, I'm talking to Randy Perham tonight. He is a conservative soldier, patriot, I would consider to be a great American, thinking about running for Congress. Oh, hey, what state, Randy?
Oh, Alaska.
Alaska.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. All right.
Yeah, I'm a resident of Alaska.
Okay, cool. Very cool. Because everybody's from the East Coast, I thought it was going to be the East Coast, but okay, Alaska, even cooler yet, literally and figuratively. Of all of those things, oh, and where's my manners? Folks, thanks to Janice for being in Facebook chat, and Jeremy for being in Facebook chat, and Marcia for being in Facebook chat, and thanks to Alaskan and Simone being over in SHR chat. Thanks for being here. Randy Perham, what do you think overall some of the lessons would be that the military taught you that you can apply now and in the future?
Patience.
Okay.
And I say that, yeah, I would say patience, because you find yourself, there's an old saying that we always say in the military, hurry up and wait. You have to hurry up and get somewhere, and you're waiting to actually do what it is that you hurry up there for. So you develop a sense of patience, and as even with dealing with people, everybody people come from different walks of life, different backgrounds, different education statuses, and what have you. So when you're trying to convey a message or get something done or out of people, you have to have patience, because they will fire back at you, or they won't understand or pretend not to understand. And so you learn to just have patience and get through that moment.
Can I say?
So I would say that's right.
Can I say, Randy Perham, that I think that's one of the things, now that you mention it, that I was impressed with in terms of up until I came across some Facebook posts by you, I had no idea who you were. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to have you on the show, because you've done and seen so many things, and your aspirations are astonishing. And I want to help you in any way I can. But just your background, and that just after you said that, I'm thinking to myself, as I indicated earlier, you are an amazingly tolerant guy with the things that people are throwing back at you, much more so than I would have been, throwing back logical, cogent arguments to these people. And now that I know your background, I can see, okay, now I get it. That's where his influence comes from. Hey, one of the people in chat, Simone in chat, says, hey, have you seen the clear canals in Venice?
Clear?
I guess
it was clear.
Did they get clearer after people stopped basically going to the canals, or have they at all?
I have seen pictures where, and I think there was some that were actually photoshopped. They said that they saw dolphins swimming in there, so I think it was Photoshop. But I have seen pictures, actual real pictures where the water did get a little clearer up there. Venice is about a 5-hour, if you was to drive, about 5 hours. Plane ride is about 2 hours. So by train, 3.5, 4 hours away from. I was in Venice last year, and the water there it's not dark and murky, but it is a little polluted because the mode of transportation is by boat. Everything is by boat.
Okay.
And so you can imagine that the water is not drinkable.
Yeah.
To say the least.
That's where you get kind of the creep out factor of that.
Yeah. Exactly. So
you wrote a book in 2013 entitled The New You, Now Equipped with Wisdom. As I said, I love that title. What was the genesis of that book, Randy Perham, and why did you feel compelled to write it?
So the genesis of that book is stemmed from just working with soldiers, being in the military and having soldiers under my leadership, under my charge, even like prior soldiers and current soldiers. They will always ask questions, and it's just part of their professional development and their personal growth. So they would ask marriage counseling, how to raise a baby, all sorts of things. So my wife April, she used to get irritated because I would get phone calls literally in the middle of the night. It was 2 a.m. and there'll be a soldier, past or present, that would be just asking just a random question, and they would say, "You're the only person I thought of that would help." And so I always say, you should just write a book. Just write a book. Put all that stuff in there. That way they can just go pick up the book and read it. And I was like, okay. So I subsequently ended up deploying to Kuwait. That's what got me into what led into the Kuwait deployment. And I had a lot of time on my hands because we wasn't doing a whole lot at the time. And I just cranked out the whole book in 6 months and just threw everything in there. And it's geared towards a person coming out of high school, basically, and whether or not they want to go into the military or pursue a civilian path. And it gives this tip on both directions, all the way up to retirement. And it covers just about literally everything from how to dress, and how to invest your money, save your money, how to prepare for retirement. I mean, you name it, schooling, the whole gamut of life, but in both directions.
Well, I think that's a great motivation to write that, and it sounds like a really important book for kids that are growing up. There's another aspect. Well, let me ask you this before I move on to another question. Randy Perham, is there another book in there somewhere in you?
There is. I actually have it shelved right now because I'm dealing with school, and then next thing you know, I woke up and I was like, oh man, I got to start preparing for retirement. But there is another book that I'm working on. It's more politically, and it actually is going to discussion of the polarization of American politics. So I'm still like in the beginning phases of that, but that is the general theme for that one. I might get back to that one here once I get back to stateside. So have a little bit more time to focus.
Okay, there's a guy in the SHR chat right now, and he's called, oddly enough, The Alaskan. So, The Alaskan from Alaska says, hey, ask Randy Perham where in Alaska he's going to be going.
I'll be moving to Anchorage, right around the J-Bear area, Joint Base Elmendorf Richardson area.
Okay. You also have a radio show on Ken McClinton's TECN. And Ken and I are buddies from 2017. He's a great guy. I'm on his show every Monday night. TECN is the Exceptional Conservative Network. Well, you've got a show also on TECN called The New with Randy and April. And you've told me it's on every Monday and Friday on TECN at 1 p.m. Eastern. So in a nutshell, Randy Perham, what's your show about, and why did you start it? Tell us about that.
So, ironically, once again, I was going back to like having conversations with people all the time, all the way back in when we were living in Texas, and then we moved up to Alaska and kind of continued that. And we, April and I, we would do like little Facebook lives here and there, and so we decided to just go and make it a regular thing, and we created this show called BCR Radio, and we was on Blog Talk Radio at the time. It was just basically just topic of the week or different topics, that was trending, and so we would just give our take on it. And then Ken was a listener. He was a listener on our show, and he reached out to me when we moved out to Maryland. He said, "Hey, I've been following your show, and I like your content and everything, and like to partner up with you and see where things go." So we subsequently we did eventually stop doing BCR Radio, and we actually became part of SHR Media at the time when he was part of it. And so we converted our show to fit the SHR Media themes and formats, and stayed with that for a little bit, and then we branched off and became part of TECN. And so here we are now 3 years later, still doing our shows. And it's basically just it's still the same thing. We discuss just the current trending topic. On Mondays, I try to teach out of the book. That's actually where the title comes from. It's my book.
Okay.
We do now with wisdom. And so I try to teach different topics or expound on them on Mondays, but I've kind of gotten away from that because there's been so much going on, and as we're moving into the legend cycle, there's just so much more stuff to cover that's a little bit more interesting than a book that anyone can pick up and read and go from there. So that's where we're at.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a break. We're talking to Randy Perham. He is an author, entrepreneur, soldier, patriot, and he wants to be a U.S. representative from the state of Alaska. I'm not going to do the break because I just don't have time to spare, and I got so many questions. So I just want to remind everybody of this.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And Randy Perham, to me, that's the really interesting part. You said that when you retire in 2020, you want to pursue politics. You're going to do it from Alaska. What is this the aspiration? Pretty much, is this the culmination of pretty much everything you've been building up to in your life right now? All your various foundations have led up to this?
I would think so. I actually, to be honest, I think so. And as I said, I enjoy helping and working with people. I find myself to be more of a servant leadership than a directional leader. So I like to get out there and identify what the problem is and help solve it. And so my decision to run out of Alaska is more incidental than intentional because moving around so much in the military, whatever state you pretty much land in, you find yourself becoming a resident of that state, whether it's for tax purposes or whatever the benefits. And so when we moved to Alaska from Texas in 2012, I immediately fell in love with the state. I was already excited about getting that assignment because I always wanted to go to Alaska and just check it out. But I fell in love being there, and I was kicking and screaming when it was time for us to leave there, and I was trying to actually stay there and retire from there. And I thought, I don't care what job you give me, let me just stay here for the next 2-3 years so I can retire. They were like, no, you have to leave. So I kept my residency in Alaska because, once again, I love the people there. I love the state. So I figured that I would have enough residency time established by the time I did retire to actually qualify to run for the state and for the U.S. House of Representatives out of Alaska, which is only one seat. So I already have an uphill battle to face anyway. But
okay, we'll get to a bunch of stuff on that. I've had Brandon Strock on the show a bunch of times. He's the creator of Walk Away. And another similar hashtag is Blexit. And I think I know the general answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway. How much written and verbal heat have you taken in your life for being a conservative?
Oh, wow, a lot. A lot. I get it virtually daily in some platform, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, in person. And it's actually calmed down a little bit. It was just the COVID thing been going on. It's kind of like calmed down on that a little. But I've been experiencing that almost my entire life. I would say even all the way back in high school, because I was kind of like the nerdy type. So I would get called a coon and wanted the Oreo and stuff like that, even back in high school. So it's nothing new to me, and it doesn't faze me. It doesn't bother me. It just shows the level of ignorance that a person has to stoop to because they cannot articulate themselves to exercise their point. So.
Now, on this show, when people make salient points like this, I go, and you just nailed it, Randy Perham. So I got to ask you this, and you don't have to answer. Did you vote for President Trump in 2016?
No, I did not, actually.
Okay.
So it was once again kind of like one of those typical things. I won't say he was a friend of mine, but I did know of him. I knew him. We interacted a couple of times. His name was Daryl Castle. He was running for president at the time.
Okay.
It was one of those offshoot ballot names for president. And so I was kind of like being funny with myself, but I was also kind of like, I said, "Oh man, I know Daryl. Yeah, I'll go ahead and throw in my vote for him." I knew it wouldn't matter anyway. Because the state of Alaska, was an absentee ballot. I knew that Alaska's a Republican state, so I knew that it was going to go towards Trump. It was one of those. But I do support the president because on the ballot, whatever.
Okay, so let's get into politics right now. Folks, I'm talking to Randy Perham. He's an author, entrepreneur, soldier, patriot, conservative. You just heard what that's done to his life. And he wants to be a representative from the state of Alaska. So in terms of politics, that's basically what it's going to be now until the end of the show. What are your thoughts, Randy Perham, about that Mueller investigation involving Russia collusion, the dirty dossier, General Michael Flynn, Ukraine impeachment, all that kind of stuff? Do you have any general thoughts about that?
I do. All of it to me was, I knew from Jump Street, actually, when they first started, when President Trump decided that he was going to run for politics, and when President Barack Obama at the time, like, this guy would never be president, you saw the snowball effect. That was the catalyst point. I would believe that kind of created all of this. So when Hillary Clinton got involved or started her campaigning and paid for the dossier, and they started all of a sudden having these investigations into all these different characters of people that was part of the Trump campaign, I knew from jump that they was going to create something. There was just too much work being done for it to just fold into nothing. And I find it quite sad that the Congress of both times actually fed into this and didn't see right through this. So it's quite sad to see how the Obama administration politicized both the IRS, the FBI, the CIA, you name it, the FISA reports, the abuse of that, just to try to hinder or stop a political opponent. And in the world that we live in today, when we have to stoop to that kind of level of divisiveness, you tend to create second and third order effects that may be unintentional and inconsequentially unreversible. And so, it's sad to see it unfold, and I'll be happy to see how this ends, and hope that no other political person have to go through anything like.
My conclusion about all of that was, this is a soft coup against a presidential nominee, a president-elect, and a sitting president. And you've given your opinions about that. So let's talk about your potential campaign, because the guy that's in SHR Media Chat right now, the Alaskan, is talking to me about a guy named Don Young. So he says, ask Randy if he plans on going after Don Young. And he said he has been holding this seat since 1974. So is that the guy that you're going to be targeting?
I would not say target. That's a harsh word.
Well, is that the guy that you'll be running against?
Yes. Yes. Representative Don Young, great guy. I know him. We did a couple of events together when I was living in Alaska. Great guy and everything, but he is quite old now.
Yes.
And he's been there forever and a day. So I would like to usher myself in and potentially replace him, because I think Alaska needs younger blood there, in terms of being there a representative for the people there, and someone who can actually be on the ground, get around, and help out. Not that he doesn't, but like I said, he's older. He's been in office 40 plus years now, and so it would be. I think it's time that he retires and I take over. If it's the will of the
Randy Perham. I'm looking at his bio. He's 86. This is, folks, I hope you're sitting down, and Randy already knows this. He's served since 1973. This is his 24th term in the House. 24th term. Holy moly. So are you in the process, I can only assume so, are you in the process of crafting your campaign? And if so, what is it that you're going to indicate to people that you're going to be bringing to your candidacy that this guy won't, can't, or doesn't have?
So the first part of the question, have I started the process? A little bit. I have created a Facebook page. I don't put too much activity on there right now because I am still in the military, so it's kind of blurred the lines a little bit there. But I have been working on building my my platform for the campaign, and it's mainly just my campaign is going to be geared towards, hey, it's time to change things up. Like you said, he's been in office for 40 plus years, 26 cycles, and there's nothing. He's a great guy. Alaska only has one U.S. representative seat, and he's been almost since the birth of Alaska becoming a state. So and I just think that coming in, he's mid-80s, almost 90. I think it's time to look towards having somebody younger come in, a fresh pair of eyes, and being able to be on the ground to help people and take the issues back to Washington, D.C., and continue to fight.
Randy Perham, I have 5 sort of big overarching areas that I'd like to run by you and see if you think that these in general would be a good idea. And I've said this for quite some time on my blog and when I'm on the show here. One of the first things that I'd go for is what I call the Equal Application Act. And what that means is that every federal law created it's going to apply to every federal employee, no matter their age, their sex, or job, or title, or position, or hours. No federal employee, no federal contractor is going to be exempted from any federal law. Not politicians, not judges, not clerks, not lobbyists in federal employ. No exemptions for everybody, period. You either apply the law in a blanket fashion or you don't consider it at all. Would you go for my Equal Application Act?
Yes, absolutely. It should be that way, anyways.
Okay.
I feel the same way about about that as well. But this is where we find ourselves conflating the application of the law because of status. Because of a person's status. Well, we can't do that to them because they're this, or we gotta let her slide because of this. And I don't think that's right. If there's a law and it calls for whatever it may call for, it should be applied. This is why we say that justice is blind. It should be blindly applied to everybody, and not just because you have certain status. That's always.
Okay, my second one is called the Tort Reform Act, and it revolves around two words: loser pays everything. Would you go for that one?
It would depend. It would depend.
Okay.
We have to be careful with that one because when we're talking about civil suits and what have you, some are just outright frivolous. We all know this, and depending on the judge and the if you have a lawyer involved, you might find yourself in a bad boat that day. And although you should have won the case, you end up losing, and now you're being slapped in the face twice by not only losing the case, but you also have to pay for it. So I would say it would be situational.
Okay. That is more than fair. Here's my third one. I call it the Transparency in Bills Act. And that's this. Each bill is going to have one fundamental topic. There's not going to be any riders, no confusion, no attachments, no hanging something about military spending on a bill about ducks and geese. No trying to slide something stupid surreptitiously through some kind of bland bill in the dead of night. One bill, one topic, period. Your thoughts?
Yes. I love that. And that was actually I totally support that because that was actually something that I was fighting, helping someone fight in Maryland about time, keeping around with talking to politicians about introducing legislation. I believe it did end up getting introduced and it got shot down to reduce or to eliminate, I should say, having pork in different bills, unnecessary things or adding things in there, like you just said, that have nothing to do with. So that's where a lot of the bills end up dying. It could be something, topic itself could have been something that would have been widely supported, but then it ends up failing in the Senate or failing in the House because there was one paragraph in there about, oh, by the way, let's add in $1 million for the Girl Scouts cookie fund. Like, what does that have to do with this? And so I agree. That should definitely be some very, very strong legislation.
I would also submit that causes a lot of conflict in politics, particularly with regard to the citizens who see and understand what's going on, and that causes, in my opinion, mistrust. Let me go to the fourth one. The fourth one is what I call the Truth in Budget Act. What that means is monies that get acquired through, a given bill are going to be held only for that bill. No more mixing or stealing or moving cash in the dead of night from one fund or account to another. Encumbered funds for one bill remain in a given account. No stealing from Peter to pay Paul. Taxpayers expected a given politician or a given bill or act to fix, fill in the blank with that cash. So the Truth in Budget Act is funds encumbered for that act, they stay there and they don't get mixed or stolen or added or deleted. They go right to that and nothing else. Thoughts on that?
I actually like that, and I do support that. I have, once again, I have had conversations about that one as well. The only problem with that one that could potentially arise out of that is the say for example the expenditures may be less than what was predicted. So now you have that money that's sitting there, that extra money that could go to something else. Now, if the project is finished or what have you, and the remaining balance or the remaining the remaining balance is available, I would support it being applied to something else that needs additional funding. But all in all, if there's an allocation for something, it should stay with that allocated purpose only.
Okay, and then
I do agree with that. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Randy Perham, my final thought, my final suggestion is the E-Verify Act. Every employer has got to use E-Verify. From a small business to every mega corporation, if an individual is not a lawful resident of the United States, they shouldn't be employed. You know, if you want to impact the building of the wall, what I'm thinking is that you try minimizing the necessity for building that wall in the first place. When people can't profit from draining America and people can't get jobs, then we have the ability within ourselves to stop this at the point of origin, and I'm suggesting maybe we should. Any thoughts about the E-Verify Act?
Yes, and I fully support that, and I find that to be a contentious one as well. Even within I would go on a limb and say even within the minority community,
mm-hmm.
there's been contention about E-Verify because we tend to want to support minorities, whether they're coming across the border, whether they're here illegally or not. And I get that. They should be supported. They also should, immigration should be supported with doing it the right way. And then you won't have to have a E-Verify system. But because we don't have that system or it's not equally applied across the spectrum, we have these problems. So in order to properly take care of people like Americans that we are, then we need to make sure that people are here legally. And I can go into a whole diatribe about supporting illegal immigration because you have people that come, you don't know who they are, you don't know where they're from or anything else, but you want them to utilize your resources. You might as well just open up your front door and go to bed. That's how you feel about it, But no one would do that. So having them here legally, coming in through the correct process, being properly vetted, and going through the naturalization process and becoming a productive member of society is the way to go. And I think that will also be a contributor to the reduction of crime. It's all simple math.
I completely concur on that one. Here's one, and I'm not going to try to pin you down on this, but I would like sort of a general overall thought, because here's a question that almost nobody addresses, and nobody wants to, because it is the largest, most frightening monster ever to exist in the United States of America today. What are we going to do with our debt? Currently, it's right around $25 trillion. How can we keep on spending? How can we keep on printing money? Any thoughts, Randy Perham, about this? Can we begin to manage this massive monster of our own creation?
No, we would never be able to manage it. Not without taking over the rest of the world and selling it to the Decepticons or something. This hole that we have dug is here to stay. And I think the only way that we will ever start chipping away at it in the reality of things is we completely and just like totally start being independent manufacturers and selling and trading with the rest of the world without compromising our own integrity or shipping our own jobs overseas and everything else. Keep everything manufacturing and everything in the United States. That will bring in more money, and at that point we can start paying down the debt. That's the only real realistic way to But that would never happen either, because we have too many people that want to become globalists and take their stuff overseas and everything.
Okay.
I don't see it happening.
Okay. That brings up this, and this might end up, well, let's see. I got about 5 more minutes. Okay. I might be able to squeeze 2 more questions in. Here's one that I definitely want to ask, because it's timely. It's in terms of the coronavirus. You mentioned globalism. There are 2 schools, primary schools of philosophy and thought: globalism versus nationalism. In my opinion, we have been handed clear evidence about the weakness of globalism and the strength of nationalism. To me, it's not a matter of 2 philosophies. It's a matter of national security, strength, and independence. And I think the coronavirus situation, now more than ever, particularly hammers that home. And any thoughts that you might have, globalism versus nationalism?
Yes. So globalism, it's okay for something, to share cultures, to share ideas. From a globalist standpoint, that is okay. But when we're talking, like I said, intelligence, manufacturing, and everything else, you want to keep the integrity of having a national or a nationalized product. And we see it over here in Europe. Over here in Europe, you see made in Germany, made in Italy, made in France. They're very proud of what the things that they do produce. And it's not, when we look at it from a political standpoint, we hear nationalism, people automatically think some kind of supremacy. And it's not the case. It's just having a national sense of pride of what you're producing by putting your label. And in terms of the manufacturing side of the house and trade, that is okay. That's a nationalist in that sense. Now, like I said, for a globalist, it's okay to converge and meet with others and exchange culture, because we're all a melting pot. I have yet to run across a pure race of anybody.
Right.
Except for Norway is kind of questionable. It's kind of pure, but there's a population up there. So that's why I see it from that.
Okay, one final question for you. And then I'm going to say thank you for being here, because you've been here early for a full hour. That's this: China. China is a problem. What are we going to do about China? Our current dealings with China, I believe that they're untenable, and they place way too much advantage in the hands of China. In my opinion, China is our greatest threat. It's far greater than Russia. China is advancing hacking towards stealing whatever it is that we're doing. And especially these days, we're discovering that they're trying to hack whatever it is that we're working on in terms of a COVID-19 vaccine. And I think their goals are clear. So at one end of this spectrum, if you talk about the Chinese, people immediately call you racist. That's an issue in and of itself. But any thoughts about how can we norm things regarding China, do you think? Randy Perham.
I would say probably the best solution, or one of the best solutions, would be to totally sanction the shit out of them.
Okay.
and cut off trade with them, at least for a while, until they realize, so their economy is already hurt, and when you're hurting, when you're a hurt dog in the corner yelping, you start doing nefarious things to get back in the fight, and this is evident of that right now with their actions. They're a hurt dog in the corner, and they're looking to find ways to get back into the game. And so as long as the United States and the rest of the world, for that matter, continue to put pressure on China, they will eventually cave in and conduct themselves accordingly. Even we see right now, Australia is starting to reduce their trade with them as well.
Yep.
And Taiwan and Japan, they're talking of pulling back also, and they're right there. So I think once everybody across the world kind of comes on one accord and decides, hey, we're not gonna deal with China anymore, then they would have no choice but to conform to the global standards that we're trying to set.
Okay. Randy Perham, I've really enjoyed you having you on the show. Would you ever consider coming back?
Thank you.
And
yes, absolutely.
And of course, the closer you get to your campaign, let me know, and I'm going to definitely have you back for that. And here's why. We need to support local folks. Shannon Wright is a radio host right here on the SHR Media Network. She's running for mayor of Baltimore this coming Tuesday, November 3rd. We got to vote for her. And soon, I think, we're going to have in Alaska Randy Perham to vote for as well. So Randy Perham, thank you again for being so gracious with your time. God bless you, sir. Take care and be safe.
Thank you for having me. God bless you. God bless you as well. Thank you. Talk to you later.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so it's now 6 o'clock where he is, 6 a.m., and it's Thursday here. Well, no, it's Thursday on the left coast. It is Friday on the right coast because like 1 minute after midnight. And that having been said, I'll be right back after this.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
Hey, are you guys listening? This is Shannon from Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM on SHR Media. I know you've been wondering where we are and what's been going on. Well, folks, that's right, we're back. So please join us 7 to 9 a.m. Monday through Thursday on SHR Media, on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Spotify, and Facebook Live at 11 a.m. on Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM at Facebook. You don't want to miss a minute. We've got lots of guests, lots of segments, and lots of interesting things. And let's face it, there's nowhere for you to go, so you might as well tune in. Again, Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM. We're back live on the air on SHR Media, 7 to 9 a.m. Monday through Thursday, audio and Facebook Live, audio and video. Yes, we are going to do video. Facebook Live, Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM. Hope to see you soon.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
It is he that is me, bringing perspective from across the sea. Join me, Jack Alexander, 4 days a week for the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast, as I take a unique outsider's look at the news and issues affecting life and liberty here in the USA. I'll show you what the mainstream media refuses to. Politics, border security, defense, healthcare, travel, nothing is off limits. Catch the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast each Monday to Thursday on Facebook, YouTube, and everywhere good podcasts can be found. Also, check out the website, www.jackalexanderexperiment.com.
Southern Sense is conservative talk with Annie, the radio chick you bellows as host, and C.S. Bennett co-host. Informative, fun, irreverent, and politically incorrect. You never know where they'll go, but you'll love the journey. Annie is a top conservative host on Top Talk Radio and features some of the finest guests packed with important politicians and newsmakers. Listen every Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, noon to 3 Pacific, on the SHR Media Network. Remember, Southern Sense is common sense.
After 6 years covering terror and corruption, the Unpleasant Blind Guy is making a change. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker and YouTube through SHR Media and on the Western Free Radio Network as I team up with Jeff Mitchell, host of the English Defense League radio show on blogtalkradio.com. Check show pages for airtimes. It's the Unpleasant Blind Guy.
On EDL Radio.
There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thanks for listening tonight. We are in the second hour of BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct right here on the SHR Media Studios, where I am broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California. Always spell it with a K. In the first hour, we had Randy Perham. He is a soldier, entrepreneur, author, and wants to beat Don Young as representative, essentially for the entire state of Alaska. I hope he does it. As was pointed out by Boyd in the Alaskan in SHR chat, and also by Boyd in the Facebook chat. And thanks again to Janice, Jeremy, Marcia, Boyd, all the folks that are in the chat. Oh, Melanie was watching there for a while. Appreciate that. Thanks for being here. If anybody wants to call, I'm going to play about, let's see, what is this? About 4 or 5 minutes of a video that is gone, and I happened to capture it. And I decided, okay, I wasn't going to play it this week, I was going to play it next week. But then I was thinking, okay, if my Audacity thing crashes, it's a program that I saved it on, I'm going to play it. But after I play this, and it wasn't in keeping with my train of thought that I was going to go for tonight. I was going to talk about happy stories, some of the breaking news, go into California, always spell it with a K. And then this guy is a rancher by the name of Shad, S-H-A-D, Sullivan. So I'm going to go to him now. After I go to him, folks, if you want to call, the phone line is going to be open. I say line singular because, okay, we are a cheap outfit here, all right? If you want to call, it's 575, that's actually Roswell, New Mexico. 575-208-4481, 575-208-4481. If you happen to be watching on Facebook or YouTube, then you can see at the bottom of the screen, there's the number. It says call in now, 575-208-4481. So after I play this guy's video, give me a call. Phone line, singular, is open now. Bing, go. I found this video. This is a rancher. He's a cattle rancher. I have since attempted to find this video. I can't find it. I have it saved in a fashion. I hope I can play it. I played it before, about an hour before the show. I'm going to see if I can play it now. Folks, when they're talking about a meat shortage or a beef shortage, and that might be having a little bit of criticality, especially considering it's the Memorial Day weekend. Monday is Memorial Day. Listen to what this guy has to say. This video was taken down. This video was removed. So anytime that any of the social media giants, assholes, decide to take a video down, to me, it's information they don't want you to hear. And anything that they don't want you to hear, I want you to hear. Because this is America, and I believe in the First Amendment. So let's hear what this guy has to say, Shad Sullivan. He's talking about American beef, and I think when you hear this, you'll begin to understand, okay, all right, I get it.
Hey everybody, this is Shad Sullivan coming to you from the headwaters of Bitter Creek, Archer County, North Texas. We have to talk. State officials will be assisting to help identify potential alternative markets if a producer is unable to move animals, and if necessary, advise and assist on depopulation and disposal methods. Ladies and gentlemen, we are plowing under...
Depopulation meaning killing cattle. Killing cattle.
Vegetable crops from coast to coast. We are euthanizing millions of chickens. We are aborting sows and burying feeder pigs. We are dumping milk by the hundreds of thousands of gallons, and now they are preparing us to depopulate the fat cattle ready to harvest because of a bottleneck created by the effects of COVID. This thing hasn't been created by COVID, but the effects of COVID and the logistics therein. We are in trouble. Our food supply is in trouble, and I am appealing to producers and consumers across the nation to start calling. Yesterday, the first shipment of imported beef from the country of Namibia hit the shores of the United States of America. And yet this morning they are telling us to prepare to euthanize harvest-ready cattle.
Okay, stop here just for a second. Do you understand what's going on here, folks? This is the perfect opportunity for leftists, Democrats, ably abetted by the American media maggots, to make sure that this is part and parcel of an attempt to make sure that you don't eat beef anymore, because they don't like it. They don't want you eating beef anymore. They don't want you eating poultry, pork, beef, any of that. None of it. They want you to stop. So they'll also do whatever they can to import beef from other countries in order to ruin local farmers. This is like taking a big gun, bending the barrel, and turning it back on the head of all Americans. Don't tell me this isn't politically motivated.
Am I the only one that sees a problem in this? It is time we get the American people back to work. It is time we get money flowing. It is time we get food on the shelves. Because if you're not concerned about this food supply problem, you better be. We have a huge supply and demand of food across this nation. We can feed the world ourselves, and yet we're destroying our harvests.
It's here. We have it.
At the same time, we are importing beef from other countries, beef that is less regulated than our beef, less safe, not as high quality of product, and yet it's happening. At the same time, they are preparing for us to euthanize our harvests. Does that make sense to America? For the last 10 years, we have been pressed to be sustainable. I've said all along, sustainability is a fraud. And right now, we're being forced to destroy our harvests.
That's insane.
That doesn't sound like sustainability to me. But it is part of the overall goal to vertically integrate your food system. You see, they cannot have control of the people unless they have control of the food, the water, the land, production. It is time we get back to work. It is time the American people force the government to listen to us. We are of, by, and for the people. This is not Nancy Pelosi's country. This is not Donald Trump's country. This is your country, and you're going to go hungry. We must get regional and local packing houses up and going. Do we have to have those big packing plants? You bet we do, and they need to be running right now. We need help. You as a consumer are in trouble. My dad told me years ago the best thing that would happen to America is if everybody had to sit in the dark, cold, and hungry, and that would wake them up. Well, I think it's coming. We're in a dangerous position, ladies and gentlemen. We need to get inspectors into these small plants. We need to get better inspectors. We need to get going on this today, not tomorrow, today. You need to be calling your legislators. We need to be opening up the country. Your food supply is in danger. Ranchers are going broke every day. We're doing all we can to stay here. We are in crisis in America. This is a crisis. This is a national crisis. And everybody's just sitting back enjoying their time off, enjoying that $1,200, not knowing that overnight you're going to go hungry. It's coming. Ladies and gentlemen, we need your help. We need your help today. Everybody, all hands on deck. It's time. We need you to go to demandUSAbeef.com, sign the petition for country of origin labeling. People want to know where their food comes from. I don't want any beef out of Namibia. I don't want any beef out of Brazil. I want my own beef. I'm blessed to be able to eat my own beef, but a lot of you aren't, and you need the freedom to choose your product. Demand mandatory country of origin labeling. Demand that these people get back to work. Where have our patriots gone? Where are you? I ask you that today. This thing's going to be incredibly tough overnight. It's already tough. You think the shelves were empty 2 weeks ago. You just wait. We have a bottleneck in this processing facility and the logistics in this transportation system of our food supply. You think we're not in trouble? We are. I'm sorry. My tone is so bad. I'm so upset. But we have got to get this going today, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate your support. Producers, start reaching out to consumers. Forget these associations. Forget all of the corrupt bullcrap that's been going on. We got to put a stop to it too. It's time. My apologies for my tone. I'm worried about my country. Try to make it a good day, you guys.
That's the video that you're not going to hear ever again. You might be able to find it. I found it 2 days ago. I looked for it yesterday. I made a copy of it myself because I've already noticed that, and I'm going to have a big special report coming next week about why we're not open and the science or the lack of science behind why we're not open. But I wanted to play that for you. I decided I was going to play that for you tonight because it's going to disappear. It's going to disappear once again. Now, I wanted to talk about, I've got so many things to talk about. Alaskan gives me so much crap because, dude, why don't you just make it a 3-hour show? You know, every Tuesday and Thursday night, make it a 3-hour show. I don't know if I can make a 3-hour show out of it. There is going to be news. News is going to be coming. I'm going to start with New York. Going to be telling you some things that you might not have known about New York. And then I'm going to go into some happy stories. Then I'm going to be talking about California. Always spell it with a K.
12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start.
These are the news stories you need to hear.
2, 1.
Go.
I will build a great, great wall.
Stand by for news.
Did you hear this? This is from Market Watch. I wanted to talk to Jeff Dunitz about this Tuesday night. This is a lovely thing. New York City Health Commissioner rejects NYPD's mask request. Her quote was specifically, "I don't give two rats' asses about your cops." Right. The New York Police Department requested 500,000 surgical masks from the health commissioner. That's an urgent NYPD request. They're on the front line every day, every hour. So the health commissioner blew off their request for those masks, telling a high-ranking police official, and this is again a quote, "I don't give two rats' asses about your cops." This is Dr. Oxiris, Oxiris. She's a she, which I'm guessing is pronounced Osiris. The X is like an S. Osiris. Barbot made the remark during a brief phone conversation in late March with NYPD, talking directly to the NYPD Chief of Department, Terrence Monahan. He asked for 500,000. She said, "You're only going to get 50, and I don't give two rats' asses about your cops. I need them for others." Really? Non-first emergency responders, apparently. Then, here's your lovely in New York City. Why does anybody live in an urban rat cage like New York City? I don't get it. I don't get the whole big city thing, and that's why I call them urban rat cages. So you have to wonder to yourself, I can't figure out, and apparently de Blasio and Cuomo can't figure this out either. How did New York blow up? How did we get so, well, besides inserting active COVID-19 cases into nursing homes, that's a story for another day. I blew up on Jeff Dunitz last Tuesday night. Nothing like murdering the least capable of handling this, the weakest population in your entire state, comma, Cuomo. But now, Comrade de Blasio has said, now if you guys don't act, let me put the right accent on this. If you don't stay off the beaches, I'm going to have to fence them off. So this is de Blasio. Let's see. Do I actually have the video? I might actually have the audio of this. Okay, here we go. Here's, who is this? Bartiromo. Here's Bartiromo talking to de Blasio. Dictator Comrade de Blasio.
In terms of aid to the states, to the cities, how are you going to decide who gets what?
So you've had a lot of states and cities that have been very
that's
badly
Trump.
run.
Let's
for
go
a
to
long
de Blasio.
time. Like your very bad current year.
As an excuse to cover up for years of mismanagement, sir?
Here we go.
Bill de Blasio. Mr. Mayor, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Maria.
You heard the president. Are you using this COVID-19 pandemic as an excuse to cover up for years of mismanagement, sir?
Hell yeah.
Maria, you've seen what's happened in this city. You're a New Yorker. You've seen what has happened in this city in recent years, right before this pandemic. The highest level of employment in our history, booming economy, lowest crime since the 1950s, more and more kids graduating on time in our public schools than ever in our history. You name it, this city was moving forward. And as an American, Maria, I want to say, as an American, we're all in this together. So when New York City does well, when New York State does well, it helps the whole country. When California... Okay,
this is de Blasio attempting to justify when he himself, just him, needs $7+ billion with a B dollars in federal stimulus. Federal stimulus to a state. We'll have Gavin Newsom weighing in on that in the final half hour. Comrade de Blasio, go ahead.
It does well, one of the other great engines of the national economy. It helps everyone. I don't think we should be talking about red states and blue states. We should be talking about American states, American cities, how to put America back on its feet. And when I told you about that $7.5 billion, that's revenue that's gone, that pays for cops, firefighters, teachers, sanitation workers. It's gone. And there's no way I'm going to get it back. In fact, Maria, I'm probably going to see more and more revenue gone because our economy won't come back without a stimulus.
And what did you spend all of that money on, comrade? Things that, paying for illegals. Things like that a lot of the people didn't want. And it's your bad spending, comrade, that got you into this in the first place.
So I'm simply saying what it's going to take to get us back on our feet.
Right, but you can't blame the COVID-19 for everything. I mean, even before the coronavirus, you had streams of people, individuals and businesses, fleeing the city because of the taxes, fleeing the city because of the homelessness, and fleeing the city because of the inmates that you are letting out. New York City shootings spiked nearly 200% this week compared to the same time a year ago. Crime is up. All the bad stats are up. You know that. So the question becomes about your sanctuary city policies. Mr. Mayor, bottom line, are you willing to sacrifice sanctuary city policies in order to be eligible for this money?
Here we go.
Maria, bottom line first, because I have a lot of respect for you, but you mischaracterized the reality. Crime has been going down overall in this city now for 7 years. We have times when things go up, and the NYPD fights them back.
She's not talking about 7 years. She's talking about now.
Spike in crime fights it back. In terms of the city, some people left, and a lot of people came, including we've built more homegrown millionaires in recent years, and more millionaires have moved here than any who left. So no, in fact, highest employment in our history, Maria, before.
About around you is people say the problem with Mayor de Blasio is that he hates wealth. He drives rich people out of the city with the amount of regulation and the tax.
We've reduced crime, and we will continue to. And again,
is there any way you could pull back on your sanctuary city laws and follow the
Okay, she's tenacious about this. I like this.
rule of the law when it comes to immigration?
And he's shaking his head.
The Trump administration.
Bullshit, you follow the rule of law. You follow the rule of how can we get more votes?
I want to work with you.
We follow the rule of the law in this city, and we respect
Let's skip
the fact
ahead.
there's a housing status. We want to fix immigration in this country. Let's have a comprehensive immigration reform.
To go into nursing homes. Now we're seeing a dreadful number of people having.
Here now, 12 million people. Let's stop ignoring Maria and denying it, and actually deal with it as a country. That's something the Republicans and Democrats might actually get together
nursing
on.
homes.
Because if we don't, everyone's going to suffer. Our economy's going to suffer. Let's deal with the reality.
What do you want to say? What do you want to say to those people who are horrified by the nursing home situation, where Governor Cuomo allowed coronavirus patients to go into nursing homes? Now we're seeing it.
Okay, here's what I said then, here's what I said today, and here's what I'll say now. These two fucktards, Comrade de Blasio and Comrade Cuomo, don't have any skin in the game. Zero skin in the game. And because of that, they don't care. They're still employed. Comrade de Blasio still getting a paycheck. Governor Cuomo still getting a paycheck. I don't hear about either of these two gentlemen who had any familial skin in the game. I don't hear that they had any family members in any of the nursing homes in the state of New York. We know that in Pennsylvania, that ugly piece of crap that was the health commissioner pulled her mommy out of a nursing home because, you know, nursing homes are okay for the little people, but us big people, we do the right thing and pull our folks out. What do you say to that, comrade?
Dreadful number of people having died at nursing homes. How is that happening on your watch?
We all have to do better. There's no question. We're working with the state, with Governor Cuomo. We've been supplying protective equipment to those nursing homes. We're going to do everything we can. This is a horrible human.
No, you didn't. I just read a story Tuesday night from Cuomo that said PPE to nursing homes, we're not responsible for that, meaning the state of New York isn't responsible for that. That's from Cuomo. What, you don't listen to Andrew?
In crisis, I think about these families, Maria. We all have to, the state actually has the regulatory role in terms of regulating.
Okay, I got jacked up on this last Tuesday night. I'm getting jacked up on this stuff now. I am going to go to a full break and then we'll be right back. Mother of God, can I get a happy story around here?
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
Hey, are you guys listening? This is Shannon from Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM on SHR Media. I know you've been wondering where we are and what's been going on. Well, folks, that's right, we're back. So please join us 7 to 9 a.m. Monday through Thursday on SHR Media, on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Spotify, and Facebook Live at 11 a.m. on Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM at Facebook. You don't want to miss a minute. We've got lots of guests, lots of segments, and lots of interesting things. And let's face it, there's nowhere for you to go, so you might as well tune in. Again, Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM. We're back live on the air on SHR Media, 7 to 9 a.m. Monday through Thursday, audio and Facebook Live, audio and video. Yes, we are going to do video. Facebook Live, Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM. Hope to see you soon.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
It is he that is me, bringing perspective from across the sea. Join me, Jack Alexander, 4 days a week for the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast, as I take a unique outsider's look at the news and issues affecting life and liberty here in the USA. I'll show you what the mainstream media refuses to. Politics, border security, defense, healthcare, travel, nothing is off limits. Catch the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast each Monday to Thursday on Facebook, YouTube, and everywhere good podcasts can be found. Also, check out the website, www.jackalexanderexperiment.com.
Southern Sense is conservative talk with Annie, the radio chick you bellows as host, and C.S. Bennett co-host. Informative, fun, irreverent, and politically incorrect. You never know where they'll go, but you'll love the journey. Annie is a top conservative host on Top Talk Radio and features some of the finest guests packed with important politicians and newsmakers. Listen every Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, noon to 3 Pacific, on the SHR Media Network. Remember, Southern Sense is common sense.
After 6 years covering terror and corruption, the Unpleasant Blind Guy is making a change. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker and YouTube through SHR Media and on the Western Free Radio Network as I team up with Jeff Mitchell, host of the English Defense League radio show on blogtalkradio.com. Check show pages for airtimes. It's the Unpleasant Blind Guy.
On EDL Radio.
There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And we're back. It's the final 25. Shoot, let's turn the volume up on the headphones so I can hear. There we go. Now, because I have one of the world's worst cases of tinnitus, and I'm also pretty much deaf as hell, no human, no mere mortal can stand the volume level that I run my headphones at. So after I turn them down at the break, and then I turn them back up after the break, and actual human beings would not be able to stand the level that I have my headphones at right now. So I told you in chat, and I'll say it again, if anybody's interested in calling, anybody in there, even somebody from Venezuela, you can call 575-208-4481, 575-208-4481. That number actually in Venezuela is 575-208-4481. If you are interested in calling, that's the deal. That's the bitch about doing a late night show is that, you're going to get a lot more people calling and doing that kind of stuff during the day than you will at night. Because right now on the left coast, it's 9:36, which means it's 12:36 on the East Coast. It's already tomorrow on the East Coast. Well, I got to put up with that because that's the kind of show that I wanted to have anyway, so that I can say whatever I want, play whatever I want. Here's a I needed this. I don't know about you guys. I needed this. I'm going to go to Happy Stories. I'm going to go to my happy place during this. Everybody needs a happy place, and I need some happy stories. There are a couple of new happy stories for tonight. Here is a take, I guess you could call this a comedic take on fear porn. This is Blue Pill People.
In today's news, the death count is escalating. You should be scared.
Yes, I'm very scared. Yes.
Stay in your homes. It's not safe out there.
No. It's not safe out there. It's only safe in here. Right.
These are your rights. Unless we scare you with a virus.
I am scared.
The death count is even higher today. We're here to help you.
The news is here to help me.
It's not safe for you to make your own choices. We'll do your choosing for you.
I'll be safer that way.
Do as we tell you. It's for your own good.
I will do as you tell me for my own good. It'll be safer if I stay in here.
All small businesses need to shut down and stay shut down. Even still, it's for your own good.
Please take my livelihood for my own good.
The death count is the highest it's ever been.
Am I dead yet?
We'll censor your speech for your own good.
Thank you for censoring my speech to protect the world from me.
Wear a mask. It's the law.
Then I'll be safe and have no identity.
You can trust that these powerful leaders at the podium are looking out for you because they say all the right things.
I trust you. You say all the right things. You're putting everyone at risk. I'm calling the cops.
There's somebody walking outside.
What's the death count now?
The death count will soon be 100% of all people. Keep sheltering in place and enjoy the safety of peaceful slavery.
I'll never leave my home again.
In the prophetic words of Bill Hicks, you are free to do as we tell you.
I am free, and I will do as you tell me.
You are free. Free to do as leftists tell you. Never forget. And then we have...
It's time for Happy Stories and Good Times.
Here's a happy story. It has to do with journalists. This is from Twitchy.com. You knew it would get around to this sooner or later, didn't you? Reporters worried that a layoff now would effectively end their career in journalism. Now, if I had a producer right around the time that I said reporters worry that a layoff now would effectively end their career in journalism, you should have heard. But that's not what you heard, because I don't have a producer. Look, we don't like it when anybody, well, almost anybody, loses their job. But while journalists with job security keep trying to depict lockdown protesters as grandma killers and not people who have lost their livelihood and they're hitting food banks for the first time while just wanting to go back to work, we hear now that journalism jobs are disappearing during this recession. Here's a bit from, let's see, what's this from? Oh, my favorite site, BuzzFeed News Union. They wrote, losing a newsroom job now isn't just a temporary setback. For many colleagues let go, this could be the end of their careers in journalism. All the more calamitous when the work journalists do has never been more critical. We have to pump out the fake fucking news just for you. And to that story and to journalists, I reply, you idiots brought that on yourself. Here's an actual happy story. You're going to think this is a really cool, happy story. I can tell you that right now. The headline, especially when you hear the headline. Father fatally shoots man naked except for mask in daughter's bedroom. That's a little awkward to write. It could have been written better, but here's what the author meant. This is in Scottsdale, Arizona. A homeowner confronted a naked, masked man in his daughter's bedroom on Wednesday night, fatally shooting the burglar when he lunged at him holding a piece of wood. OFW. The incident happened just before 10:53 p.m. when Dr. Aaron Latowski, a Phoenix-based urologist, arrived at his home located near Pima Road and Pinnacle Deer Creek and discovered one of the doors was open. Everybody was asleep inside the house except the family's Doberman. You're falling down on the job, Sadie, who was barking like crazy down the hall toward the doctor's daughter's bedroom. And so he said, I came inside. I saw one of the side doors was open. She was barking down the hall towards my kid's bedroom. So Latowski, 41, this is the best part. Latowski, 41, said he grabbed his shotgun. Why go for a handgun when you can grab your shotgun? Or maybe a recoilless rifle would be better. But he had his shotgun and went to go see what was going on. What would you do if you found this? He found a naked man wearing only a mask inside his little daughter's bedroom. He said the burglar came at him with a big piece of wood in his hands. He basically was lunging at me. It was very quick. He had his hands in the air. I could see something dark or black coming at me. And again, it was very, very close. So I fired almost immediately. Okay, let's see. Man with shotgun, 1, at close range. Naked burglar with piece of wood, 0. So I have to chalk that up. I gotta say, as far as I'm concerned, that is a happy story. Okay? Most deaf. A happy story. Okay, that's enough. This is another story. This just came out. This is from the Washington Times. 500 doctors tell Trump to end the coronavirus shutdown, saying it will cause more deaths. 500 doctors are saying this. Well, that's not what governors and mayors are saying. Hundreds of doctors wrote a letter. Hundreds of doctors. Well, you can't get a consensus on doctors. Nobody believes this. Yeah, except 500 letters, 500 doctors who wrote a letter to President Trump asking him to end the coronavirus shutdown, saying it was a mass casualty incident, spurring deaths from other factors such as substance abuse and suicides. Don't allow the leftists to set the agenda and tell you what's actually happening. That's why I'm here. That's why I find these stories, and that's why I give them to you under the guise of happy stories. Then this just got passed. Senate passes bill removing rogue Chinese firms from U.S. stock exchanges. The U.S. Senate passed a bill boosting oversight of companies based in China and other nations that could lead to their removal from American stock exchanges. The vote on the measure, introduced more than a year ago by Senator John Kennedy and Chris Van Hollen, comes as Congress and the Trump administration seek ways to punish Beijing for its initial handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. I'd say that's a happy story. Then there's another happy story. This from the U.S. Supreme Court. From USA Today. U.S. Supreme Court blocks... Okay, you just covered me on this. Supreme Court blocks disclosure of grand jury evidence from Russia probe. Well, what happened? The Supreme Court yesterday temporarily blocked Congress from obtaining secret grand jury material from the Russia investigation, putting on hold a lower court's ruling that would have allowed such disclosures while it decides whether to take the case on appeal. What's this about? The Democrats have not dropped the Russia investigation. They are continuing with it, and they're going to go back to the Supreme Court. Definitely. If you think this has stopped, it has not stopped. Now, in the process of finding this, I have a website for you guys to look at. Let's see. msmlies.com. I'm going to put it in chat on SHR Media. msmlies.com. And I'm going to put it in Facebook chat. Let's see. msmlies.com. And you can go there and find lies broken down into, includes Fox News. Well, here's the categories. There's a ton of them. ABC, all the media, AOL, AP, BBC, Bloomberg, BuzzFeed, CBS, CNBC, CNN, compilations, Daily Mail, fact checkers, Fortune, Fox, Garbage News, Google. msmlies.com. There are a ton of featured stories. Click on it and it will take you to the expanded story. This is great. msmlies.com. Go there. Quick like a bunny. And then, here's another happy story. This one, let's see, when was this? This is in California now. Always spell it with a K. Okay, here we go. This was 2 days ago. This is definitely a happy story. California car thief. I'm sorry, I can't say this without laughing. Okay, I'm going to have to get serious now just for a second. I'm going to get serious now just for a second so I can give you the damn headline. Okay, the headline is California car thief plunges off bridge to fiery death during police chase. An unidentified man fleeing police in a Honda Civic bowled off a Bay Area bridge in California, always spell it with a K, over the weekend, falling over 100 feet before a deadly fiery crash, according to police. The chase began on Interstate 80 Sunday evening, heading eastbound through multiple counties before reaching the Carquinez Bridge in Crockett, where the driver lost control around a curve and crashed over the edge. A CHP spokesman told Fox News the stolen vehicle burst into flames on impact. My condolences to the owner of the automobile. Luckily, I think your insurance will be able to get it back. And the driver's remains were so badly burned that investigators could not identify him right now. I got to tell you, that's a good story. Hey, but while we're talking about California, always spell it with a K, thank God it looks like I'm going to have the last 10 minutes to at least be able to get to some of these stories. I guess you could call this a happy story. Well, I think it is definitely a happy story. The Department of Justice sends a stern warning to California regarding church lockdowns. And I say this, you know what? For once, it's really nice to have a DOJ that believes in the First Amendment. The coronavirus pandemic slams and it simmers just below the surface. There's a struggle emerging regarding just what establishments should and should not be operating during the emergency. And several religious organizations have complained Governor Gavin Newsom's lockdown are inordinately affecting the houses of worship. So the DOJ isn't going to stand for that. And especially while other public places are open. And so, citing Attorney General William Barr's April memorandum warning state and local governments to respect the First Amendment rights of religious freedom, Barr wrote that, arguing that while California could determine its pace of its reopening, it can't infringe on religion. And I think that's a great story, too. Now we get to the real California. Here is California, always spell it with a K. Here's what Californians are putting up with. And I know it's not just in California, but I'm focusing on California for right now. This is from the Los Angeles Times. Now, LA County, their supervisors are saying they could keep stay-at-home orders in place well into the summer, depending on conditions. Question: do you think people next to a shore are going to stay in their homes in the summer when in Southern California the temperatures can reach 100 degrees easily? The immediate answer to that is not just no, but hell no. Then you've heard of this, haven't you? This happens to be from KTLA channel number 5. California faces a 55, that's double nickel, $55 billion deficit due to the coronavirus pandemic. And that's how it was written by the Associated Press. Stop. Let me tell you what really caused it. If you stopped the bullet train to nowhere, whose estimates now are from $50 to $68 billion, just by stopping that one project, you wouldn't have to go into arrears. And stopping paying illegal aliens right here. But no. Our loving Governor Newsom says that he's going to have a budget shortfall of $54.3 billion because of the economic devastation wrought by the coronavirus. Well, stop. What did Governor Brown at least leave the state of California with? He left it when he went away with a budget surplus. Okay. Here's the truth. Last year, 2019, California, always spell it with a K, had a $21 billion surplus. And so what did Newsom piss it away on? Illegals and sanctuary status cities and counties. Now he wants your money. He wants your money. Because, you know, he spends it so wisely, doesn't he? Well, Californians always spell it with a K. He managed to finagle a $1 billion. Here's your taxpayer dollars at work. He finagled a $1 billion deal with a Chinese company. Oh, this is a Chinese vehicle manufacturing company. Oh, a Chinese electric vehicle manufacturer, to produce protective masks while people were clamoring for PPE and masks. Here's what happened. All of the masks that he ordered and that were delivered, none of them met national safety and health standards. Those were NIOSH standards. None of them. Now let's talk about leftists for just a moment. And I want you to leave understanding California. And I'm planning to leave it. I'm not talking out of school or anything. As soon as I can, as soon as my wife retires, we're leaving this piece of shit behind. But even a lot of businesses have fled. Even Elon Musk has finally had it with how California is treating him. He purchased a plant in Fremont, California, which used to at one point build you remember when the Toyota Corolla was badged like a Chevrolet? Well, that car came out of a plant in Fremont, California that Elon Musk purchased to build his Tesla vehicles. So Elon Musk, because the state of California, always spell it with a K, won't allow him to let his people go back to work. He was threatening to move out of California over those health restrictions. Well, he's a massive leftist. They love him. They love some Elon Musk. They love him. Until a California assemblywoman tweets out, "Fuck Elon Musk," after he threatens to move Tesla out of California. Tesla CEO Elon Musk threatened to move both the company headquarters and production facilities to where? Texas, or next door to Nevada, if they weren't allowed to reopen as soon as possible. Then Musk took to Twitter and announced that he would sue Alameda County. The Fremont plant, City of Fremont, is in Alameda County. The unelected and ignorant interim health officer of Alameda is acting contrary to the governor, the president, our constitutional free... Oh, now that he's personally... Oh, I get it. When leftists have their own rights threatened, it's okay to mention the Constitution or the Bill of Rights. Up to that, no. Yeah. So this health officer, female health officer, is acting contrary to the governor, the president, our constitutional freedoms, and just plain common sense. So that's what he said. And another tweet he wrote said, "This is the final straw. Tesla will now move its HQ and future programs to Texas, Nevada immediately. If we even retain Fremont manufacturing activity at all, it'll depend on how Tesla is treated in the future." Tesla, by the way, is in fact the last car maker left in California. So news covers this. And Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez, Democrat from San Diego, all she wrote was, twice, I'm sorry. In case you didn't get it the first time, she wrote, "Fuck Elon Musk." Then a couple of minutes later, she wrote again, "Fuck Elon Musk." She's a labor leader. She authored, listen to this, because I'm trying to get somebody on the show to talk to us about California Assembly Bill 5. If you know California, you'll know about this. I'm not going to go into it right now. Gonzalez, is a former labor leader. She authored AB 5, which has, by the way, nearly destroyed California's ability to work as independent contractors and freelancers. And so if you go against her, oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, so now the state of California is rolling out $19 billion in cuts. And now California is asking for funds to help them out with the Trump water lawsuit. Help us out. And in case you didn't get it, or you don't understand the motivations behind leftists, I think this is going to be the last story for the night. I really want to hear you. I want you to hear this story. Hey, Chris. Thanks for being in chat and Facebook. Now the final story. Because this is how leftists work. This is how they react. Gavin Newsom now says first responders... he wants you to feel pain. So Gavin Newsom says first responders are going to be the first ones laid off unless California gets federal COVID-19 funds. California's Newsom says first responders are going to be the first ones laid off unless federal bucks arrive in the Golden State for the near future. So his revised budget also, by the way, says that it's going to cap film and TV tax credits. Bye-bye, Hollywood. Cut pensions. Bye-bye, PERS. Raise taxes and spends the reserves. But here's what Gavin Newsom really says and really thinks. And I think this is going to be the final notation in it all right here, if I can find the right story. Oh, by the way, before I go, I'm going to mention this once, but there's another resolution on right now to terminate Gavin Newsom's emergency powers. Now, isn't that a great thing? I think that's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Oh, and by the way, Gavin Newsom says that it's an obligation of the federal government to bail him out. It's not his spending that needs to go down and didn't need to be monitored before. Oh, no. Now his state, like New York, is a priority. And your federal dollars from Texas, Louisiana, South Dakota, North Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, Iowa, Ohio, your tax dollars need to go to him so he can piss all that money away. Here in California, always spell it with a B.
Monsieur has been locked!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thanks for listening to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct right here on the SHR Media Network, where I have just about finished broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California. So if you want to contact me, you can find me on Twitter at bzep, at BZEP, and on my blog, bloviatingzeppelin.net. Promotional consideration is by the Lockheed Martin Skunk Works and also by Pratt & Whitney Engines Thrust. You can trust. Tiaras are, of course, I'm wearing one under my hat. Don't think I'm not. Tiaras are by My Little Pony. Thanks to my personal KC-135 Kettle One refueling team with whom I will be consorting in less than an hour. Thanks to Randy Perham for being here tonight in the first hour. Thanks to everybody for listening live. Thanks for everybody being in chat in Facebook. Thanks for everybody listening later on, watching at SHR Media, listening, and also listening to me in podcast. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Come back Tuesday night, Angel Espino. It's going to be in the Saloon. God bless. Have a great weekend. Take care. Be safe.
Quiet down now and get some sleep.
Night, everybody.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Ben.
The red
Good night,
pill.
everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children. Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing?
Take
Good
Good night, Jim Bob.
the red pill.
Good night, and good luck.